I think I was due a little existential crisis. There's been so much change in my life, good and bad, and I've had some amazing adventures, met wonderful people, while at the same time being away from a lot of people I love. And I just end up feeling so overwhelmed. So I think it's time for some phoenixing. But before we phoenix, we must wallow. So I plan to read some books that have the highest likeliness to make me cry. I have a few of those on my shelf. We have Sorrow and Bliss, I'm Glad My Mom Died, and As Long as the Lemon Trees Grow. All of those will definitely make me cry, but I've been eyeing As Long as the Lemon Trees Grow for a while. And when I asked all of you over on Instagram which one I should start with, you agreed. So today we will start reading As Long as the Lemon Trees Grow. So let's talk about this book while I paint some lemons. I finally got a proper watercolor set after using my dollar store one for years. So let's see how that goes. I'm following a tutorial for this, which I'll leave in the description in case you want to try it out too. I took a while to read As Long as the Lemon Trees Grow because I really wanted to take my time with this one. I really enjoyed it and I wanted to read every sentence and savor it. It was the perfect book to start with because it made me cry several times, but it also made me laugh and made me feel hopeful and just made me feel all the feelings. The book follows Salama. She's 18 years old and was studying to become a pharmacist in Syria when the revolution broke out. Because of that, she's now functioning as a doctor at the local hospital and she's struggling with this dilemma of staying to save all these people every day in the hospital and defending her homeland, or to leave and save herself and her family as it gets increasingly dangerous to stay. This book was so steady throughout. It's extremely well written. Everything is just right. The pacing, the lyrical prose, moments that are devastating, and then these beautiful, heartwarming moments who honestly made me equally cry. It was such a great balance between showing the harsh reality and really not holding back towards the audience of how awful and how helpless it can feel, but then also showing that there's so much to save and so many people who are fighting to keep the culture and the country alive. And I think I'm going to remember this book for a really long time. I could see these scenes so vividly in my head, and the way that the author takes us through the thoughts of our main character into such depth, showing her fears but also her resilience and careful bits of hope, was so incredible. All the other characters also have character development and such distinct personalities and their purpose in this story. I also really liked the romance part. I thought it was very cute and wholesome and actually added to the overall plot in a nice way as well. No spoilers on the who, what, where and how, but I thought it had these beautiful underlying messages that the right person will not just be your source of happiness, but rather make you see the happiness that is in your life, however mundane or simple it may be, especially in hard times, and that they will bring out the strength that is already in you. I just thought it was very beautifully done, and this being set in wartime during a revolution, I think there were some very obvious tropes that the author could have used but didn't, which I liked. There were some, but they made sense, and I will only share one quote because I don't want to give anything away, but there's one moment that kind of shows how in a lot of moments the author plays with seriousness and lightheartedness within the same moment, besides the moments that are at the extreme of happy or sad. My breath hitches in my throat. I try desperately to gather at anything scientific to explain the act of falling in love. How long does it stay in the body incubating before I begin to show symptoms? Is it chronic or fleeting? Are the circumstances with the war a factor in speeding up the process? The Jubilee references were a surprise. I had heard about it, but I wasn't sure how it would come out in the story itself because it's not necessarily something that is logically linked to the story. For me, it was really nice bonus because I love Studio Ghibli, and so those references really worked for me. I have nothing but praise for this book. I think anyone who enjoys young adult fiction should read this, especially if you're a fan of the way books like The House in the Cerulean Sea or A Man Called Ove make you feel, then this one's for you too. They are entirely different stories or writing altogether, but they all hit that sweet spot of being heartbreaking and heartwarming at the same time that just makes you feel so hopeful for humanity. That being said, there are some content warnings for this, so make sure to look those up in case there are some things you're not comfortable to read about, because it's not an easy read. There are some really horrible moments described, but it's done in a very respectful way, I would say. Meanwhile, this lemon watercolor tutorial has been a lot of fun. I highly recommend picking a wonky fruit when you're first starting out with watercolors. I'll probably incorporate this little painting in my reading journal spread later when I do my wrap up. We'll see how I go about that. And after finishing As Long as the Lemon Trees Grow, I really want to pick up on Grief and Studio Ghibli by Carl Thomas Smith. I bought it a little while ago on my Kindle, and I think it will be the perfect read to follow up on this one. So you'll hear my thoughts on those two books in the next wrap up. I might add a little spoiler section to that one too, because there's some really beautiful quotes I want to mention, but I feel like they might give a little too much away, so I'll save them for the wrap up. And most likely I'll also still read Sorrow and Bliss and I'm Glad My Mom Died. We'll see how many Wallowing books I will read before I move on to some comfort books, which I envision will be the next stage. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please like and subscribe if you did. That would really help me out. Thank you so much for watching and have a nice day.